Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is Top 4, Game 2 of the League Cup that happened at Die Hard Games on September 23rd, 2023. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central at Die Hard Games, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format anyone wants, really. More info in the description, and check out Pokemon's event locator for more premier events at Die Hard Games, such as League Challenges, League Cups, and pre-releases. Please hit that like button right quick. Subscribe to this channel. Ring the bell for notifications. Say what you need to say in the comments and all that other good stuff. But anyways, let's get into this game. Game 2 of Top Cut, Top 4. It looks like our, whenever you lose in a best of 3, you get to choose if you go first or second. So our player on the left lost game 1, and I believe they decided to go second, which makes sense in this Lost Zone mirror match. So the player on the right is going to go ahead and start things off with Battle VIP Pass. Of course, they're going to go ahead and do that. Battle VIP Pass item card. You can only play this on your first turn. When you do, search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon. Radiant Greninja being found, as well as a second Comfey. Starting things off strong in this game 2 of top 4. Radiant Greninja will use its Concealed Cards ability to discard an energy card and draw 2 cards. Comfey uses its Flower Selecting ability in the active there to take a look at the top 2. Put 1 card in the Lost Zone and keep the other. Super Rod, quickly toss into the Lost Zone to choose that Battle VIP Pass. Battle VIP Pass being played. Second one of the turn 1 here. Finding Manaphy and Sableye. Interesting to see Sableye being found over Cramorant this early in the game, but maybe Cramorant's prized or other reasons this player sees more important. Either way, Switch Cart is going to switch that active Comfey out for the one on the bench. It's going to use Flower Selecting to send a Battle VIP Pass to the Lost Zone. Energy will be attached to that active Comfey, and player resume on the left here, where they start things off with a Flower Selecting. Yeah, the energy was attached on the right, so that way they can have a retreat out for the next turn. Mirage Gate being sent to Lost Zone. Switch Cart, switching those Comfey out. Second Flower Selecting of the turn. Switch Cart being sent to the Lost Zone here. Both players with their Lost Zone at 2. Now we need to see, or would really like to see, some course experiment. Third Comfey hitting the field, hitting the bench. Switch Cart being played to switch into that third Comfey for a third Flower Selecting. Another Switch Cart going to the Lost Zone. Pretty tough choices here for a left side Lost Zone player. Raikou V being put on the bench. Force Seal Stone being attached to that Raikou V, giving it the powerful Star Alchemy V-Star power to search the deck for any one card. Let's see, we don't really need to search for a Battle VIP Pass with that Force Seal Stone yet. Since there's a Cramorant in hand and you got most of the stuff that you want on the field already, you do really want a Radiant Greninja out. So maybe that's what they're going for here, using Force Seal Stone to search the deck with its V-Star power for any one card. You see that V-Star marker getting flipped over there, signifying that. Alright, we must have V-Starred Force Seal Stone for a course experiment. Supporter card lets you look at the top 5 cards of the deck, send 2 cards to the Lost Zone, keep the other ones. Super Rod and Force Seal Stone being sent to the Lost Zone. Not too bad. Manaphy being put onto the bench, along with a Cramorant, so no Radiant Greninja in play. Energy attached to the active Comfey, which mainly retreats into that Cramorant, and the Cramorant can attack for free thanks to its Lost Provisions ability, which states as long as there are 4 more cards in the Lost Zone, it can attack for free. So 110 damage onto that opposing Comfey, taking the KO and the first prize of the game. Comfey is promoted on the right, and it uses its Flower Selecting ability Looking at the top two and sending a Nest Ball into the Lost Zone. Radiant Greninja discards energy card and draws 2 cards with its Concealed Cards ability. And of course, Experiment being played. There we go. Let's look at the top 5 and send the least important 2 into the Lost Zone to build up that Lost Zone count. Raikou v Palpad hitting the Lost Zone. Pokestop being played and activated. 1 hit off of Pokestop. Clara and Sableye going to the discard pile. Pokestop, for those you don't know, each player may reveal the top 3 cards of their deck. Put any item cards they find there into their hand, and the rest go to the discard pile. So you don't want to see the Clara go into the discard pile. Sableye's okay, because you can shuffle it back in with something like Super Rod. Either way, another Comfey will hit the bench here. And a switch card will be played to switch into that Comfey. It will use Flower Selecting. Let's see what we're going to keep and what we're going to put in the Lost Zone. Dragonite V going into the Lost Zone. Nest Ball being played to search the deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto the bench. Cramorant may be the target, unless it's prize. Like I said, the Sableye was chosen earlier off the VIP pass and not the Cramorant in the early game. Cramorant's your early game attacker in these decks. Sableye is the mid to late game attacker. Oh, there is definitely a Cramorant in deck. Okay. So Cramorant being found off of that Nest Ball and put onto the bench. Let's see, there are more than 4 cards in the Lost Zone, so it can attack for free. Now we just need a switch card to be able to make that Cramorant be the active Pokemon. Or an energy. I don't think there was a manual retreat, unless I missed it. Yeah, I think there was a manual retreat already. No, there wasn't, I don't think, actually. We'll find out here pretty soon, though. Energy attached to the active Comfey. So now it can retreat. Yeah, I was thinking there was a manual retreat because there was a Psychic on the active Comfey. But that Comfey was KO'd. Lost Vacuum being played here. In order to play Lost Vacuum, you have to send a card to the Lost Zone. So Mirage Gate was sent to the Lost Zone. Lost Vacuum can send to the Lost Zone a tool card on the field or a stadium card on the field. So the Pokestop being the target there, being sent to the Lost Zone, bringing that Lost Zone count up there. Comfey retreating into Radiant Greninja. Ooh, and the pass there. Okay, I thought we must not have 7 in the Lost Zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we do. Just don't have any Mirage Gate. That had to go into the Lost Zone. With that, we could have powered up Radiant Greninja. But there is a mana fee already, so Radiant Greninja just going into the active spot. Because it has the most HP of all the Pokemon in play. So it's a tank. Play resumes on the left-hand side with, of course, Experiment. Taking a look at the top 5 and sending to the Lost Zone the least important 2. I see a Comfey going away. That's okay, because there's already 3 in play. Something else. Victim of the Glare, we'll never know. Pokestop being played and being used. Let's see what the top 3 are. Okay, Artisan going into the discard pile. Not too bad. 2 items kept into the hand. Battle VIP Pass, not the most ideal thing to find here, but you can get rid of that with the Lost Vacuum. Escape Rope being played. That's an item card that makes your opponent choose a new active Pokemon first by switching it with one from the bench, and then you do the same. So we really wanted that Radiant Greninja in the active spot to soak up some damage, but they are going to promote the Manaphy as a new Pokemon. Comfey being put into the active spot, and it uses Flower Selecting to add a card to the Lost Zone and 1 to the hand. Definitely like seeing these ability used markers. Helps keep things nice and neat. Mirage Gate coming down. Item card. When you have 7 or more cards in your Lost Zone, you may search your deck for 2 different basic energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Water energy going into the active Comfey, lightning going on to the bench Comfey. Interesting. thinning the deck and prepping them to retreat. Comfey retreats into a Cramorant. Lost Vacuum being played, sending a card to the Lost Zone, which sends the Stadium to the Lost Zone, building that Lost Zone count there. And Cramorant will take an easy KO on this Manaphy. We're debating on attaching energy, electric energy being attached to the bench Raikou V, and now Cramorant takes the KO on that Manaphy with Spit Innocently. Sableye becoming the active Pokemon. Course Experiment being the supporter being played. That's going to bring our Lost Zone count up to 10 now, or the right-hand player's Lost Zone count up to 10. So that way, Lost Mine on Sableye will be online. Escape Rope and Pokestop, it seems, being sent to the Lost Zone. Radiant Greninja discards an energy to draw 2 cards with its concealed card's ability. Psychic Energy being attached to the active Sableye. Hisuian Heavy Ball being played to look at the prize cards, and you can switch a basic Pokemon with the Hisuian Heavy Ball and add that basic Pokemon to your hand. No target being found here, but but it's still important that the prize cards were able to be peeked at, and we know what's in the prizes now. Lost Mine now being used here on that active Sableye. Lost Mine, if you have 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone, you may put 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. 6 going on the Manaphy, and 6 going on the Comfey, leaving each with only 10 hit points left. Water Energy being attached to the bench Raikou, and nice and easy, Cramorant takes the KO on the opposing Sableye. Comfey being promoted into the active spot. The play resumes on the right-hand side here. Super Rod being played to shuffle back into the deck from the discard a couple of Sableye and a Psychic Energy. Super Rod lets you shuffle up to 3 and any combination of Pokemon and basic energy from the discard back into the deck. So very important to cycle these Sableye here in this Lost Zone mirror match. Step 1, check. Now there is an advantage on the right hand side here where they have no multi-prize Pokemon in play, where the Raikou V had to be put in play in order to attach the Forest Seal Stone and use the V-Star power on it. So that could be a big thing here in this mirror match. Player on the right's resolving Flower Selecting, sending a Psychic Energy to the Lost Zone, and finding a Course Experiment, making their way through D-Deck. Forest Seal Stone and Escape Rope being sent to the Lost Zone off the Course Experiment. The other 3 cards being added to the hand, all from the top of the deck. Double Sableye being put onto the bench. Wow, what a board here. Psychic Energy being attached to one of the Sableye. Switch card being used to switch that Comfey with the Sableye. And nothing else to do but Lost Mine here. Player will consult their discard pile first and actually use a concealed cards, discarding energy from hand and drawing 2 cards, thanks to Radiant Greninja. And now, Lost Mine, 6 energy on the other Comfey and the other Comfey, leaving them all lots of Pokemon with only 1 HP left. Lightning Energy being attached to the active Cramorant, most likely so it could retreat. Maybe in a future turn. I mean, you have the KO here, and you want to KO the Sableye, so Lost Vacuum being played, sending the card to the Lost Zone to send that useless Forest Seal Stone to the Lost Zone, building that Lost Zone count, and Cramorant takes the KO on the opposing Sableye. Play will resume on the right as soon as a new active Pokemon is promoted. The player is checking out all the piles of cards, making sure that they make the best decision here in the top 4. Comfey being the new active Pokemon. And play will resume on right Lost Zone side. Flower selecting being used to look at the top 2 cards. 2 cards remaining in deck. Course Experiment being sent to the Lost Zone. Don't want to play Course Experiment here. If you can't draw a card at the beginning of your turn, you lose in Pokemon. Super Rod being played to shuffle back in from the discard a Sableye and 2 Psychic Energy. So we have the Sableye chain firing on all cylinders here. Looks like they're debating on actually putting a Water Energy instead of 2 Psychics. Just 1 Psychic Water and Sableye back into the deck. Nope, we're gonna play it safe because we just need Psychic Energy to attach to the Sableyes to finish out this game. Mirage Gate being played here. You can attach 2 different basic energy to your Pokemon in any way you like with Mirage Gate, as long as you have 7 or more cards in the Lost Zone. Psychic Energy being attached with Mirage Gate to that bench Sableye. Forest Seal Stone being attached to that Comfey, just to thin it out of the hand. Comfey cannot use the Forest Seal Stone, of course. Our player here is searching the opponent's Lost Zone and discard pile, seeing what things they have played, what options they might have remaining to better inform their decision. Escape Rope being played. The opponent needs to promote a new active Pokemon first, then the Escape Rope player does the same thing. Comfey becoming active with 6 damage counters on it. Sableye becoming active with that Psychic Energy on it. There we go in Lost Mining. Energy in hand, debating on attaching it, and we do attach it to that bench Forest Seal Stoned Comfey. Debating on playing a Boss's Orders here. Boss's Orders on the Manaphy. And Sableye will put 8 damage counters. Nope, 120, 12 damage counters onto that Raikou. Alright, let's take a look at this board here. So, Raikou has 120 on it, meaning it has 8 damage counters, or sorry, 8 hit points remaining. And then we have 4 Pokemon with 1 damage counter remaining. 8 plus 4 is what? 12. So next turn, a Sableye on the right hand side can take 6 prizes in 1 turn. See what might be getting set up here? This is crazy. As play resumes on the left hand side. Alright, we don't have checkmate set up quite yet on the right hand side. Energy being attached to Manaphy. Manaphy manually retreats into that Raikou. Raikou uses its fleet-footed ability to draw a card. Course Experiment being played to look at the top 5 and send a couple cards, Battle VIP Pass and Water Energy, to the Lost Zone, keeping the remaining 3. Let's see how many cards are left in deck. Not enough to deck out yet. Okay, what can our left-hand side Sableye player do? Knock out the active Sableye and hope there is not a way to get a Sableye charged up and into the active spot. Uh-oh. But with that Drapion V being benched and then a Forest Seal Stone being attached to it, Drapion now can use Forest Seal Stone's Star Alchemy V-Star power to search the deck for 1 card with that V-Star marker being flipped. Star Alchemy finds a Sableye from the bench, or from the discard pile to be added to the bench. Psychic Energy being attached from hand to that Sableye. The active Comfey manually retreats into the Sableye, and there we go. 8 damage counters being put on. You know, we can spread 12 damage counters with the Sableye's Lost Mine. 8 damage counters being put onto the Raikou V, taking the KO on it, and the remaining 4 being put on, 1 of them being put on each of those Pokemon with 1 HP remaining for a 6 prize turn. Way to end things here in top 4. Wow. That was crazy. But yes, that was our top 4 match there, since it's best of 3, and our Sableye, or excuse me, Lost Zone player on the right won the first game, won the second game. There you go. They won the best of 3, putting them into top cut. The other side of the bracket was a, let's see, Arceus Aerodactyl deck versus Chien-Pao Baxcalibur. That was actually a really good set. The Path to the Peak put in some work on Arceus' side. Chien-Pao was able to give it a good fight, but I think the Arceus Aerodactyl deck was able to 2-0 the Chien-Pao deck, putting them into the finals. And our Arceus player did not want to be recorded, which is fine, no problem. I always ask permission before recording, and totally fine if they do not want to be. No worries there. So we were not able to capture the finals that happened after this top 4 here, but I was able to take some action shots there. So anyways, we had our Lost Zone versus Arceus Aerodactyl in the finals there. The Clef Keys were not enough to slow down the Lost Zone deck here. Let's see, there's one action shot from game 1. You can see a heavily damaged Arceus there, and a Dragonite all powered up, ready to go. There's a one action shot from game 1. Action shot 2 from game 1. We actually saw a scratch. I think that's Sableye's first attack there, scratch for 20 damage. With the Lost Zone player having 2 prizes left, 20 damage onto the active Aerodactyl V-Star, bringing it down to 240 HP. And guess how much damage Dragonite's second attack does? 250. So Dragonite was able, on the next turn, was able to come up and clean up the game for the Lost Zone player, taking game 1. I think that's what happened. And then game 2, this was the only action shot I was able to grab here before our Arceus player scooped things up. We saw, I think that this game, the if I'm remembering right, if you're watching and I'm remembering wrong, let me know in the comments what happened. But anyways, I think this game, the Arceus player kind of was having a slow start, having some weird draws, and the Lost Zone player was just firing on all cylinders. So I think in this final shot I tried to get the board state, but things were picked up a little too quickly. I think what happened here was Greninja was able to take a multi-prize turn, whether it was like 4 prizes or 3 prizes. Either way, we saw a Water Shuriken for game, closing out the finals. This Lost Zone deck able to 2-0 the Arceus Aerodactyl deck. So congratulations to our champion, to our top 4, to everybody that played in the League Cup, played some Pokemon, had some fun. What did you guys think of this video and the commentary? Please let me know in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.